Hey guys, I'm back. My first anime review. Don't mind me. I'm just eating some potato chips. You get it? And I'm gonna do the entire review singing in this chair like I'm L. Ha! Just kidding. This show is not worth that amount of dedication and effort. There are a few things in life I will never understand. Why do military leaders keep thinking that invading Russia is a good idea? Why do writers insist on trying to make love triangles work? Why do gamers keep giving EA money? And why is Death Note so freaking popular? Now, don't get me wrong, I might not like Death Note, but that doesn't mean I hate everything about the show. When I first watched the first episode of Death Note, I can't lie, I was hooked. And even still to this day, after having watched Death Note 5 times, of course I only got through the entire thing once, but having watched Death Note 5 times, I will say that the dichotomy between light and L, and the definition of what justice actually is, and which side you choose, it's very well written. It's hard to reach that level of ambiguity in any story that you're writing, so for them to actually reach that level, it's honestly very impressive. And of course I'd be doing the show an injustice if I didn't mention the music. The OST for Death Note, it fits the mood and the aura of the show very well, and even still to this day I'll listen to Light's theme, or L's 3 themes, or Mellow, or Nier, or whatever. The music is very good for Death Note. Lastly, the animation and the voice acting for both sub and dub is superb. Unfortunately, that's where all my praise will end. Now, if you watch my book reviews, you will know that I try to avoid spoilers at all costs, but I don't care enough about Death Note to avoid spoilers, so if you still haven't watched Death Note but want to, click off the video now. I think even the most hardcore Death Note fan will still take some issue with the last 12 episodes, and for good reason. After L dies, it's just a complete crapshoot. But me, personally, my issues don't start with episode 25. Oh no. My issues begin at the very end of episode 1. That's right, the first episode. To me, it just doesn't make much sense to give Light his god complex at the end of the first episode. Why not wait and have him be a humble, self-proclaimed purge of evil, sort of like Tsukasa from Dr. Stone? That way, when Light's feud with L is escalating with every passing episode, and the tension between these two are building, you have that added dimension of character development with Light. He transforms from a guy that just kills violent criminals, the most vile scum of the earth, to going after the one detective, the one guy on planet Earth, at least at that point in time, that he thinks can capture him and rat him out as Kira. And that way, when he finally does kill L, that's when the God complex sits in, where he just thinks, there's no one else that can stop me. I'm free. I am the god of the new world. I think that would be more effective. But again, that's just my opinion. Now we move on to L's introduction to the show. And boy, are there a lot of issues I take with this one. First off, how did the police connect a series of heart attacks suffering from prisoners all across Japan to a serial killer? I mean, I've never understood that. I didn't understand it when I first watched it, and I still don't to this day. Secondly, why didn't Light change up the way these prisoners died? The show makes it very evident early on that you can write someone's name in the Death Note, but then you can also write how they die. And if you don't write how they die, they just die of a heart attack by default. Why didn't Light change it up and have a variety of ways the prisoners killed themselves? Light could have had one criminal die in the prison yard by shanking. He could have had another one jump off the top of a building. He even could have had someone hack the cameras and make it seem like the criminal died by hanging himself in his own cell. Wait, why does that last one sound so familiar? Even later on in the show, when L tells Light's dad that if he dies, then Light is Kira. Well, why didn't Light just have L die by getting hit by a bus or something like that? You could have multiple witnesses around, you could have the entire thing captured by security cameras, and Light would be nowhere near the vicinity. There would be nothing to convict him of being Kira other than L's suspicions. Light even has multiple instances where he kills someone by a vehicle. The dude in the second episode that's about to sexually assault that woman, he gets hit by a truck. The guy that robs the bus, he gets hit by a vehicle and they both die. I mean, is it really this hard for Light to be creative in any way? For someone who's supposed to be a brilliant high school student, Light is pretty stupid with regards to his killings. You can see now that even with a modicum of effort, he could have gotten away with it all and avoided all suspicion. Oh look, I have a pair of scissors in my hand, and I'm inching ever so closely to my neck. Could it be that someone wrote my name in the Death Note? Or could it be because I'm depressed because of how many hours I spent watching this anime? The show is also terrible at the concept of explanations. Either you get a ton of explanation that's unnecessary, or no explanation whatsoever, and there's hardly any middle ground throughout the entire 37 episodes. Prime example of too much explanation is Light and L's tennis match. You spend the entire time in their thoughts,
and it's just completely pointless and futile because it goes nowhere. It does not advance the plot in any way. And an example of little to no explanation is when Light and his dad, Chief Yagami, are both detained for over 50 days, and never once do they show a scene with Light's mom or his sister. I don't know about you guys, but for me, if my spouse and one of my kids went missing for nearly 2 months, I would want someone to explain what had happened to them. Oh, don't worry, that's not the only time in this show that there's no explanation given to something very important. Oh no, not at all. Have you ever finished the show and wondered why Rem was so devoted to Misa, or what the numbers above someone's head means when they have the Shimigami eyes? Well, guess what? Screw you. You won't get an explanation to that whatsoever. No, the show had too much time to spend. 10 minutes on a tennis match, 9 meaningless episodes about Light relinquishing the ideas and the knowledge he has of the Death Note just so Rem can kill L. Except for the fact that Rem was willing to kill L anyway before Light relinquished his ideas and knowledge of the Death Note, so... what were the point of those 9 episodes? Oh, that's right. Was introduced a Deus Ex Machina businessmen that would take Light's place. The part with those businessmen was complete trash, and that's all I'm going to say about that, because that's all it deserves. Somehow I've made it this far without mentioning Misa. God. Misa. The only reason she's in the show is to make lives more challenging, because she's such a bumbling idiot that everything she does complicates what he's trying to do. Hey man, those 37 episodes aren't going to fill themselves. Just think about that. This show had 9 episodes of almost nothing but filler. There are some shows that would cut off their left nut for an extra 9 episodes. Hell, there's some shows I would cut my left nut off for to watch 9 more episodes of. And then, of course, the last 12 episodes, we have Mello and Nier after L dies. Just why? Remember when I said I watched the show 5 times but only finished it once? Well, there's a very good reason for that. It's because after L dies, the show becomes borderline unwatchable. It was already tough enough for me in the beginning to suspend my disbelief for L. There's just an eccentric, weirdo edgelord that has the mind of Einstein mixed with Isaac Newton that can solve any case with just a small bit of evidence. And now you're telling me that Nier, who's a carbon copy of L, can do the exact same thing. You're telling me there's 2 L's? No. Screw you, Death Note. Screw you. I will not suspend my disbelief any further. And then 12 episodes of BS ensues, and then Light dies because... the writers had to have him die, I guess. And that's it. Death Note for you. Overall, the show is a major disappointment. If you haven't watched the show but know about all the hype and people saying that's one of the best anime of all time, well, you might be prepared to be disappointed. I was, at least. I'm giving Death Note a C grade, and that's me being generous. I love the concept and the idea of a notebook that you can write someone's name in and they'll die. But the execution is just bad. There's a lot more I could have delved into, especially with Misa and Mane, but I won't. This is the first anime review I'm doing on the channel, but this is not going to be a common theme of me just trashing anime I don't like. Most of the reviews I'm going to do are anime that I like and sincerely enjoy watching. I just wanted to get Death Note out of the way first, because why not? So, anyway, until next time, thanks everybody for watching.